Alright, so I have everything recorded like I want it, and what I'm going to do now is start doing a quick mix. And I figured I should probably do this while everything is playing most developed. That is when everything is at its loudest. Not in an intro or breakdown or anything like that. So here we go, and I'm just going to mute all the other ones so I can hear this one alone. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pan these a little bit opposite of each other. Just break up the stereo field a little bit there. Now listen to the lead on its own here. I might add a little bit of some high end with the EQ. So it's a good idea to bypass your effect and then put it back on just to hear the difference that it's making. So not a huge difference, but it's just bringing out a little bit of the top end. Now I can take a listen to the bells. So I'll redo this EQ to show you. There's some of that high-end energy in there. Like that super high-pitched stuff. That bothers me a little bit. So I'll just take that down. I think it sounds fine to otherwise. Make sure they sound good together. Alright, so now we're on to the bass and that low pad. I already have this filter on the bass to take out some of the super low frequencies. The strings are just as they are. I think that sounds perfectly fine. Maybe just pan these a little bit, not too much because I keep the low frequencies in the middle, but a little bit, just separate them. Alright, drums, I think we need to do some work on those. So I'm liking the sound of the hi-hats if I didn't have any reverb on there. Sounds pretty dry. But just that subtle addition of some reverb ties that together with the other drum sounds. This clap is sounding a little bit loud here, so. And I also want to make this a bit punchier, so I'm going to load up Transit Master and jack up the attack. Since I have this effect after the reverb, if I bring up the sustain, it actually brings out the reverb trail. So that's pretty cool. Alright, now I'm going to listen to all these together here. Claps opposite of each other. Cool. Now I have the piano and the harp in here. I'm going to do the same panning thing, just move these a little bit over because they sound pretty similar. Alright, so that was a really quick mix. I'll admit that I'm very bad at mixing, but just some ideas there. I think it sounds alright. If any of you guys have more experience with that, please let me know, because I am really trying to learn this better. So anyways, sound pretty alright, and I'm going to start arranging things now. Okay, we're ready to start arranging the scenes. So up here you can see how everything's working together. This is the song at its most developed, but we don't want to work right there. So I'm going to right click, duplicate that like I just did, and I like to keep this one for reference, but we're going to start with an intro. So you can remove these just by right clicking on them, and we can put in our intro. So I really liked how this piano sounded, just the basic pattern here. So let's hear how that sounds. So it's a little bit too sparse for an intro on its own, but maybe if we can bring in this harp, it'll sound good. I really like how that sounds. So that'll be our first scene. Right click, duplicate, and now I want to bring in some low frequency stuff. I don't have a pattern with just this this low string sound yet. I kind of just wanted this D here to play, so I'm gonna use this slot, reset that. Gonna use this one to copy it, paste it over to the new pattern, and oops, I'm on paint, that's annoying. Gonna select all these, delete them, select these other ones, delete those as well. And then I'm just going to take this and drag it out the whole way. So we just have this low D now on everything else. So that sounds good. I'm going to duplicate this, and I think now is a good time to bring in the drums. I really like to do filter sweeps, but I think I do those too much. Don't want to become too overused. So I'm going to try something in a guitar rig. And this is something I've learned how to do. I like to call it the super awesome combo effect. All I have to do is go into the tools, load up a container, and then you have these options here. So basically what you do is put a whole bunch of effects inside this container, and you can control them all at once. So I'm going to start with a filter. The guitar rig has this cool peak filter, and you can assign this one knob to different effects. So the first thing I want to do is just drag this onto the frequency of the filter. So now you see when I move this knob, the frequency also changes. Oh, I need to put in a drum pattern. And you can see that my only drum pattern is pretty developed here. So if I copy this and paste it over here, I'm going to cut out some of the hi-hats. And then these in-between snares, those are kind of annoying. So now what we have is this cut down drum track, and it's going to be good to bring it in with a effect sweep. Sorry, I was just making sure my mic wasn't clipping. You know what I should do is put in a limiter just to make sure that none of this clips. Alright, anyways, on the group effect here, we have the container controlling the frequency. So what I want to do is sweep this in from fully on to off. But I want the frequency to be reversed. I want it to start at lows and end with the highs. So all I have to do is drag this little triangle, put it over here, and then move this over. Basically just reversing those. So now when we move this, You can see it starts at a lower frequency and ends at the highs. I also want this knob to control the dry wet. So I leave those as the same orientation because I want the signal to be completely dry when this is off. So let's hear how this sounds now. Sounds pretty cool. I want to add one more thing. I really like this ice verb plugin. Adds a lot of cool color to the signal. So I'm going to take this one knob and assign it to the dry wet as well, and see how this sounds. Okay, so you already hear that there's way too much signal in there. So I'm going to just take this down a little bit. Maybe a little bit more there. And I also want this to control the color. Cool. Okay, so now that we have the combo effect set up in Guitar Rig, we want to automate it. So to do that, find the knob that controls your effect, and just so that's it. And all you have to do to automate this in the software is just drag around this little ring here while the track is playing back. So I'm just going to restart it, click and hold around here, and then go for it. And you want to make sure that the beginning of the pattern has the same value as this first one in here. That just prevents any jumps between this and this. So now we have those drums coming in. And we're ready to bring in the more developed pattern. So if you hear I play it back, when I play it back, the effect is still on, so we gotta go in here into the automation, make sure your paint is on, and then just draw in one to shut it off. Cool. So I have this new pattern for the bass, and this is it's still only the synth pad patch, but it is playing the bass line instead of just this one long note. So I have that going, have the drums coming in, this piano and this harp, and I'm ready to keep